The door opened and a homeless teenager walked into my bookstore. 16 years old, dirty clothes, worn backpack. She asked if I was hiring. I should have said no. But when I looked at her face, I froze. She looked exactly like someone I knew. Someone I hadn't spoken to in 2 years. And when she told me her mother's name, my heart stopped. Because I knew that name. I knew it from 17 years ago. I hired her on the spot. Gave her a place to sleep. But I didn't tell her why. Because if what I suspected was true, if this girl walking into my store wasn't just a coincidence, then everything was about to change. For her, for me, and for the person who'd cut me out of their life 2 years ago. The person whose face I saw every time I looked at this girl. What I discovered in the next weeks would force me to make an impossible choice. My name is Linda, and this is my story. Before we continue, please leave a comment telling us where you're watching from and subscribe to Never Too Old channel. We're creating a community of people who know that our best chapters can happen at any age. Now, back to the story. It was a Tuesday in November when everything changed. Cold outside, the kind that makes your hands ache. I had the heat turned up in the store, but it never quite reached the corners. 4 customers all day, maybe 5. I was behind the counter doing the accounts. Numbers that didn't look good no matter how many times I checked them. The bookstore felt too big with just me in it, too quiet. The door opened. A girl walked in. Teenage, maybe 16 or 17. Thin in a way that said she hadn't been eating enough. Her backpack hung off one shoulder, worn at the seams. The jacket was too big, sleeves covering her hands, jeans with dirt at the knees. Something about her face caught my attention, familiar somehow. I couldn't place it. She stood just inside the door like she was deciding whether to stay. Her eyes moved across the shelves, not casual browsing. She was studying them. I went back to my ledger, gave her space. She moved to the fiction section, young adult first, then literary. Her fingers touched the spines gently. She pulled a book out, opened it, read the first page standing right there. I watched from the corner of my eye. She carried the book to another section, poetry, set it down on the small table and kept looking. She was killing time, I could tell, somewhere warm to be for a while. 20 minutes passed, maybe more. She came back to the poetry table, picked up the book she'd left, held it against her chest. Then she walked toward the counter, stopped a few feet away. "Excuse me." Her voice was quiet. I looked up. "Yeah? Are you hiring?" She shifted her weight. "I need work. I'm really good with books." I set my pen down. "How old are you?" 16. Quick, like she'd practiced. "I know I'm young, but I work hard. I can prove it." 16. "What's your name?" "Jennifer." A pause. "Jennifer Carter." Carter. I turned the name over in my mind. Nothing came. "Where do you live, Jennifer?" She looked down. "There's a shelter 2 blocks over. I've been staying there." A shelter. This kid was homeless. "You're not from around here?" "No. Upstate. I ran away from an orphanage about a year ago." An orphanage, 16 years old, and already this much life behind her. "What about your parents?" She was quiet. "My mom died when I was 12. Her voice got smaller. "My dad died before I was born." That's what my mom told me. I watched her face. The way she said it. Like she'd repeated those words so many times they didn't hurt anymore. "I'm sorry," I said. She nodded. "Thank you. What was your mother's name?" "Amanda." She looked up at me. "Amanda Carter." The air went out of the room. "Amanda." I saw her. Not this girl, but the girl from years ago. Dark hair pulled back. Soft voice. She used to come into the bookstore to meet Chris, my son. She'd sit in the corner with him, reading poetry out loud while he pretended to pay attention. That was 16, 17 years ago. She came here all summer. Then she stopped. I asked Chris about it once. He shrugged, said they broke up, said she went back to her hometown. He didn't seem bothered by it, just moved on. I never saw Amanda again after that. Never knew what happened to her. Until now. This girl standing in front of me. Jennifer Carter, 16 years old. The timeline fit. I looked at her again. Really looked. The way she held herself. The set of her jaw. Something familiar I'd noticed when she first walked in. She reminded me of Chris when he was younger. My stomach dropped. Could she be? No, I was jumping to conclusions. Amanda had been Chris's girlfriend for one summer. That didn't mean anything. Plenty of girls are named Jennifer, plenty of last names are Carter. But 16 years old, Amanda's daughter. And that face. I needed to think, needed to figure this out before I did anything stupid. Can I ask you something? Jennifer said. Of course. Do you really have a job? Or were you just being nice? The hope in her voice, the fear underneath it. I made my decision. I have a job. You're hired if you want it. Her eyes went wide. Really? Can you start tomorrow at 9? She stared at me. You don't know anything about me. I know you love books. That's enough for now. She was shaking. Just a little. I don't have references or anything. That's fine. I can work mornings, afternoons, whatever you need. We'll figure it out tomorrow. I came around the counter. There's a couch in the back office. It's not much, but it's warmer than a shelter. You can use it until you find something better. I can't pay you. You'll work. That's payment enough. Jennifer just stood there, like she couldn't process what was happening. Her eyes filled up. She blinked fast, trying to hide it. Thank you, she said. Her voice cracked. I won't let you down. I promise. I believe you. She nodded, wiped at her eyes quick. 9 o'clock tomorrow? 9 o'clock. She turned to go, made it to the door, stopped. Why are you doing this? I looked at this girl, this stranger who might not be a stranger. Because you asked, I said, and I have a job that needs doing. She nodded, didn't say anything else, just walked out into the cold. I stood in the empty store, the accounts still spread out on the counter, the quiet pressing in. Amanda Carter had a daughter, and that daughter just walked into my bookstore. I sat down in the chair behind the counter, put my hands flat on the ledger. The math was simple. Chris dated Amanda 17 years ago, maybe 16. Jennifer was 16 now. It could be coincidence, or it could be something else. I didn't have proof, just a gut feeling and a familiar face. That wasn't enough to go making accusations, wasn't enough to call anyone or make a scene. But tomorrow Jennifer would come back. Tomorrow I could start asking the right questions, careful questions, see what I could learn. Tonight, I just sat there in the bookstore that had been mine and Paul's for 40 years, the bookstore that was only mine now, and I wondered if maybe, just maybe, I wasn't as alone as I thought. She showed up at 8:45 the next morning. I was unlocking the front door when I saw her coming down the sidewalk, same worn backpack, different jacket, but just as oversized. Her hair was pulled back in a ponytail. She walked fast, like she was afraid I'd changed my mind. Good morning, I said. Good morning. She stopped on the sidewalk. I'm not too early, am I? Not at all. Come on in. She followed me inside. I turned on the lights, the overhead fixtures flickering before they caught. The store looked better in the morning. Light coming through the front windows, dust motes floating in the air. Have you had breakfast? I asked. She hesitated. I'm fine. That meant no. There's a coffee shop next door. Go get yourself something. Tell Marco I sent you. He'll put it on my tab. I don't need. You can't work on an empty stomach. Go. I'll be here when you get back. She went. I used the time to clear off the desk in the back office, moved boxes of inventory. The couch was old, the cushions sagging, but it was clean. I found a blanket in the storage closet, a pillow that smelled like mothballs but would do. Jennifer came back 15 minutes later with a coffee and a muffin wrapped in paper. Thank you, she said. I'll pay you back when I get paid. Don't worry about it. I spent the morning training her, how to work the register, how the shelves were organized, fiction alphabetical by author, non-fiction by subject, the poetry section in the back corner where the light was best. She learned fast, asked good questions, wrote things down in a small notebook she pulled from her backpack. Do you get a lot of customers? She asked. Not like we used to. People buy books online now. That's sad. It is what it is. She ran her hand along a shelf of hardcovers. These are beautiful though. You can't get this from a screen. I liked her already. By lunch, I let her handle the register while I did inventory in the back. I watched through the doorway. She was careful with the customers, polite. She recommended books to a woman looking for something for her daughter. During a slow stretch in the afternoon, I found her sitting on the floor in the poetry section, her notebook open. She was writing something, then crossing it out. "What are you working on?" I asked. She looked up, startled. "Nothing. Just." She closed the notebook. "Stories, I guess." "You write." "Sort of. It's stupid." "It's not stupid." She shrugged. "Books were kind of my friends when I was younger, when things got bad at home." I sat down on the step stool near her. "What happened at home, Jennifer?" She was quiet for a long time, picked at the edge of her notebook. "My mom had problems," she finally said. "Drugs mostly. It started after I was born. I don't really remember a time before it." "I'm sorry." "I took care of her. When I was old enough, 10 maybe, I'd find her passed out on the couch, or in the bathroom. I got good at hiding things from the neighbors, making excuses." She said it flat, like she was reading from a list. "That's a lot for a kid to handle." "I didn't have a choice." She looked up at me. "I found her when she died. I was 12. Came home from school and she was in the bathroom. I called 911, but she was already gone." My chest tightened. "Jennifer, it's okay. It was 4 years ago." She closed her notebook. "After that it was foster care. Then the orphanage. That place was awful. Cold. They didn't care about us. We were just numbers." "So you left?" "Yeah. Last year. I turned 15, and I just walked out. Been on my own since." She said it like it was simple, like being homeless at 15 was just another thing that happened. I understood loss. I understood loneliness. It hit me then. Sitting on that step stool in the poetry section, Jennifer's story settling into my bones. I'd been alone too. 2 years ago, my world fell apart. Paul died on a Thursday morning. Heart attack. Sudden. No warning. I woke up and he was already gone in the bed next to me. Just gone. We'd been married 40 years. Built this bookstore together from nothing. It was ours. Every shelf. Every book. Every creak in the floorboards. The funeral was small. Paul didn't have much family left. Chris came. My son. But he stayed in the back. Spent half the service on his phone. Left right after without saying much. I spent 3 months in a fog, running the store because I didn't know what else to do. The apartment upstairs felt too big without Paul. The silence pressed down on everything. Then Chris showed up one afternoon. He had a business plan, subscription boxes, curated products for young professionals. He needed $350,000 to get started. He wanted me to sell William's bookstore. "Think about it, Mom," he said. "This place barely breaks even. You're working yourself to death for what? Dad's gone. You don't need to keep doing this." I stared at him. "This store is all I have left of your father. It's a building. It's inventory. Dad wouldn't want you struggling. I'm not selling." His face changed. Got hard. "You're choosing this over helping your own son?" "I'm not choosing anything. I'm keeping what your father and I built. Dusty books over your son's future." "Got it." "Chris, forget it." He stood up, grabbed his coat. "Don't expect me to be around to watch you struggle. I'm done." He left, didn't call, didn't visit. 2 years of silence. I lost Paul, then I lost Chris by his own choice. I ended up completely alone, just like Jennifer. We'd both lost the people we loved. Both ended up with nobody. I looked at her sitting there on the floor. This kid who'd survived things she shouldn't have had to survive. And I saw the timeline clear as day. Chris and Amanda dated 17 years ago, maybe 16. Jennifer was 16 now, born after Amanda left. It could be nothing, or it could be everything. I needed proof, real proof, before I did anything that couldn't be undone. That night, after Jennifer went to sleep on the couch in the back office, I sat at the computer upstairs, searched for DNA tests, found a company that did ancestry matching, ordered 2 kits. They arrived 3 days later. Jennifer was restocking the young adult section when I brought them downstairs. "Hey," I said, "I got something kind of random." She turned around. "What's that?" I held up the boxes, Ancestry DNA kits. I read this book about genetics a few weeks ago. Got me curious about my family tree. I ordered 2 by accident. Want to try it with me? She looked at the box. Really? Could be fun. See where our families came from. I don't know much about my family. Just my mom. That's okay. It might show you something interesting. She shrugged. Sure. Why not? We opened the kits at the counter, read the instructions together. The process was simple. Swab your cheek, seal the tube, mail it back. Jennifer did hers first. I watched her spit into the tube, cap it, shake it. That's it? She asked. That's it. I did mine. We packaged them up, walked to the post office together and dropped them in the mail slot. How long does it take? Jennifer asked. 3 weeks, maybe 4. That's a long time. Good things take time. She smiled. First real smile I'd seen from her. We walked back to the bookstore in the November cold. The sun was setting early. The streetlights were already on. 3 weeks until I'd know for sure. 3 weeks until I'd have proof. And then I'd figure out what to do about Chris. The waiting started the next morning. Jennifer showed up at 8:30 with 2 coffees from Marco's, set one on the counter in front of me. Thought I'd return the favor, she said. It became our routine. Morning coffee, her behind the register while I unpacked new inventory, lunch shared in the back office, her asking questions about books I'd loved, me learning bits and pieces about who she was. The first week passed slow. Each day I watched her, looking for more signs, more proof beyond a familiar face, and a timeline that fit. She worked hard, never complained, never showed up late. On Thursday, I found her reading in the poetry section during her break, the same spot she'd been that first day. Find something good? I asked. She held up the book. Mary Oliver. My mom used to read poetry, she said, when I was little, before things got bad. I sat down on the step stool. What was she like? Before? Jennifer's face softened. She was good, really good. She'd make up voices for different characters when she read to me. She loved books almost as much as I do. Almost? A small smile. I might love them more. What happened to her? I mean, what changed? Jennifer closed the book, ran her finger along the spine. I think she was sad. My whole life, probably. Her parents kicked her out when she got pregnant. She was 20. She tried to make it work, but I don't think she ever stopped being heartbroken about it. 20. Same age Amanda was when Chris dated her. The drugs started when you were young? Yeah. I remember being maybe 5 or 6, finding needles in the bathroom, not knowing what they were. She paused. By the time I was 10, I was the one taking care of her. That's too much for a kid. I didn't have a choice. She opened the book again, stared at the pages without reading. But there were good days, days when she'd be clean for a week, sometimes 2. She'd take me to the library. We'd check out stacks of books. She'd read poetry to me at night. What kind? All kinds. Neruda, Dickinson, Frost. She had this old collection. Torn cover, pages falling out. She gave it to me right before Jennifer stopped. Right before things got really bad. Told me to keep it safe. Do you still have it? She nodded. Reached into her backpack and pulled out a small book. The cover was held together with tape, pages yellowed and bent. I carried it with me everywhere. On the streets, in the shelters, it's the only thing I have from her. She handed it to me. I opened it carefully. Inside the front cover, written in faded ink, "For my Jennifer, love finds a way, Mom." My throat tightened. This is beautiful. She wrote that when I was 11, a few months before she died. Jennifer took the book back, held it close. Sometimes I read it and tried to remember her voice, the way she'd emphasize certain words, make them sound like music. Is that why you write? To remember her? Kind of. She put the book away. I write the version of her I wish I'd had. The mom who stayed clean, who took care of me instead of the other way around. It's stupid. It's not stupid, it's survival. She looked at me. That's exactly what it is. The second week, Jennifer suggested we reorganize the young adult section. It's popular right now, she said. If we move it to the front window, more people might come in. She was right. We spent 2 days rearranging. She made little handwritten signs. recommendations for different age groups. Within 3 days, we'd sold more young adult books than we had all month. "You're good at this," I told her. She shrugged. "I just know what I would have wanted when I was younger, a place that felt like it was for me." On Wednesday of that week, an older couple came in looking for a book club recommendation. Jennifer suggested a few titles, explained why each one would work. They bought 3 books and asked if we hosted book clubs. "Not currently," I said. After they left, Jennifer turned to me. "Could we host a book club? You want to run it?" "I could try. Once a month maybe. We could use the space in the back." "Let's do it." Her whole face lit up. "Really? Really?" She threw herself into planning, made flyers, posted them around the neighborhood. By Friday, 6 people had signed up. I watched her with customers that week. She had a way with people, made them feel seen. An older man came in looking for something to read to his grandson. Jennifer spent 20 minutes with him, pulling books, explaining why each one mattered. "You remind me of my daughter," he said when he left. "She used to love books like this." Jennifer smiled, but after he left, she got quiet. "You okay?" I asked. "Yeah." She restocked a shelf. "It's just weird. People being nice. You're not used to it? On the streets you learn pretty fast who to trust. Most people look through you, like you're not there." She paused. "In the shelters, it's worse. Everyone's so angry, so tired. You keep your head down and stay out of the way." What was the worst part? She thought about it. The fear, I guess. Never knowing if someone was going to hurt you, take your stuff. I slept in doorways sometimes, library bathrooms, anywhere that felt safe for a few hours. "How did you survive?" "I was careful. Stayed in public places during the day. Avoided certain streets at night." She looked at me. "I got lucky, mostly. Could have been a lot worse." The 3rd week, Jennifer asked me something I wasn't expecting. "Why are you doing this?" We were closing up, counting the register. "Doing what?" "Helping me. Letting me stay here. You don't know me. I'm getting to know you." "But why?" "Most people would have said no, sent me back to the shelter." I stopped counting, looked at her. "Do you want the truth?" "Always. I was alone for a long time before you walked in here. This store felt empty. I felt empty." I folded a $20 bill, added it to the stack. "You reminded me what this place was supposed to be. A place where people who love books can find each other." She was quiet for a moment. "I keep waiting for you to change your mind, tell me to leave." "I'm not going to do that. People always leave, or I leave. That's how it works." "Not this time." She nodded, didn't look convinced. That weekend I started checking the DNA website, multiple times a day, refreshing my email every 15 minutes. The results posted on a Monday morning, 3 weeks and 2 days after we'd mailed the samples. I saw the notification on my phone while Jennifer was restocking the mystery section. My hands shook when I opened my laptop. There it was, clear as day. Granddaughter match, Jennifer Carter. I stared at the screen, read it again. She was Chris's daughter. I printed the results. My printer jammed twice before it worked. "Jennifer?" My voice sounded strange. She came around the corner. "Yeah? Can you come here for a second?" She walked over, looked at my face. "What's wrong?" "The DNA results are in." "Oh," she brightened. "What'd we get?" I pulled up the website on the laptop, turned it toward her. "Look at this." She leaned in, read the screen. Her face changed. Confused first, then shocked. "Grandmother match?" She looked at me. "I don't understand. How is this possible?" I took a breath. "I have a son. His name is Chris. He's 38. She stared. 17 years ago, he dated your mother, Amanda Carter. That summer, she used to come here to meet him. Then she left. Went back to her hometown. I never saw her again." Jennifer's mouth opened, closed. "You're saying?" "He's your father. But my mom said he was dead." She lied. "Probably to protect you." Jennifer sat down hard in the desk chair. "I have a father." "Yes." "He's alive." "Yes." She looked up at me, tears in her eyes. "Do you think he knows about me?" "I don't know. But I'm going to find out." "When?" "Soon. I need to talk to him first." Before, I stopped. "I need to give him a chance to do the right thing." What if he doesn't want me? The fear in her voice, the hope underneath it. Then he's a fool, I said, and you still have me. She wiped her eyes, looked at the screen again. We're really family? We're really family. She started crying then. Real crying. The kind that comes from somewhere deep. I put my arms around her and let her cry into my shoulder. My granddaughter. I had a granddaughter. That afternoon, I waited until Jennifer went to lunch before I made the call. My phone sat on the counter in front of me. Chris's number still saved. 2 years since I'd used it. I picked it up, put it down, picked it up again. What was I supposed to say? Your daughter is here. The one you didn't know existed. Actually, maybe you did know. Maybe you knew and never cared. I dialed before I could talk myself out of it. It rang 4 times. I almost hung up. Mom? His voice, same as always, impatient. Chris, I need you to come to the bookstore. Silence on the other end. Why? I need to talk to you about something. In person. I'm busy. It's important. So tell me now. I gripped the phone. Do you remember Amanda Carter? Another silence. Longer this time. What? Amanda Carter. You dated her. 17 years ago. Why are you? He stopped. Why are you bringing her up? Just come to the bookstore. Today if you can. Mom, I don't have time for. Make time. My voice came out harder than I meant. This isn't something we can do over the phone. He sighed, heavy and annoyed. Fine, I can be there at 4. 4 works. He hung up without saying goodbye. I stood there holding the phone. My hands were shaking. Jennifer came back 20 minutes later with a sandwich from the deli down the street. You okay? She asked. You look pale. I called him. She set the sandwich down. And, he's coming at 4. Her face went through about 10 emotions at once. Hope, fear, excitement, dread. Should I be here? She asked. Maybe stay in the back office. Let me talk to him first. What if he's happy? What if he wants to meet me? The hope in her voice killed me. Let's just see what he says. 4 o'clock came too fast and not fast enough. Jennifer disappeared into the back office 15 minutes early. I heard her pacing, the floor creaking under her feet. At 4:03, Chris walked in. He looked the same. Same haircut. Same expensive jacket. He glanced around the store like he was seeing a stranger's business. Not the place he grew up in. Mom. A nod. Not a hug. Chris. Thanks for coming. You said it was important. He stayed near the door. So what's this about Amanda Carter? I locked the front door. Flipped the sign to closed. We should sit. I'd rather stand. Fine. We'd do it his way. Amanda had a daughter, I said. 16 years old. Her name is Jennifer. His face didn't change. Okay. And she's your daughter. Now his face changed. That's not possible. It is possible. It's true. Amanda and I broke up. She left. She left because she was pregnant, with your baby. Chris shook his head. No. She would have told me. Would she? Or would she have been too scared? Too hurt? He looked away, jaw tight. This is insane. I pulled the DNA results from under the counter, unfolded them, set them in front of him. These are DNA test results. Jennifer took one. I took one. She's my granddaughter, which makes her your daughter. He stared at the paper. I watched his eyes move across the words, the numbers, the match percentage. Where did you get this? Does it matter? You tested some random kid without telling me. She's not some random kid. She's Amanda's daughter, your daughter. Chris pushed the paper away. I don't believe this. The science doesn't lie. Then it's wrong. Labs make mistakes. Chris. No. He stepped back. Why are you even telling me this? The coldness in his voice, like we were talking about a stranger, not his own child. Because she deserves to know her father, I said. Amanda died 4 years ago. Overdose. Jennifer was 12. She's been in foster care. In an orphanage. She ran away last year. She's been homeless. Nothing. No reaction at all. She's 16 years old, I continued, and she's been through hell. The least you can do is meet her. I don't want to be a father. He said it flat. Simple. like it was obvious. My stomach turned. What? I never wanted kids. I made that clear back then. You told Amanda that? Yeah. When she started talking about the future, I told her I wasn't interested. That's probably why she left. He said it like it was reasonable, like abandoning a pregnant woman was just a difference of opinion. So you knew, I said. You knew she was pregnant. Yeah, she told me. I told her I didn't want anything to do with it. I was clear about that. That's why she left before I had to deal with it. Deal with it. Like Jennifer was a problem to solve. She's a person, Chris. A kid. Your kid. I have my own life. He crossed his arms. I'm not doing this. You won't even meet her. No. She's right here, in this store, working for me. His eyes flicked toward the back, then back to me. I don't care. How can you say that? Because it's the truth. He grabbed his keys from his pocket. Find someone else to guilt-trip Mom. I'm not interested in playing happy family. This isn't about playing anything. This is about a girl who deserves, what? A father who doesn't want her? That'll be great for everyone. You're unbelievable. No, I'm honest. He turned toward the door. Amanda made her choice. She had the kid. That was on her, not me. Don't contact me about this again. He unlocked the door, walked out, didn't look back. I stood there in the empty store, the DNA results still on the counter, the silence pressing down. That was it. That was my son. I heard the back office door open, footsteps on the old floor. Jennifer appeared in the doorway. Her face told me she'd heard everything. He doesn't want me, she said. Not a question. Jennifer, it's okay. She wiped her eyes fast. I figured. It's not okay. He should want you. He should've. It's fine, her voice cracked. I'm used to it. I came around the counter, pulled her into a hug. She cried quietly, the kind of crying you do when you're trying not to bother anyone. I'm sorry, I said. I'm so sorry. You tried. That's more than most people would do. He's wrong. You know that, right? This isn't about you. It's about him being selfish and cruel. She nodded against my shoulder. My mom was right. She told me he was dead. She was protecting me. She loved you. I know. We stood there for a long time, the store quiet around us, the afternoon light fading through the windows. Finally, Jennifer pulled back, wiped her face. So what now? She asked. Now you stay here. With me. This is your home. You don't have to. I want to. I held her shoulders, looked her in the eye. You're my granddaughter. Your family. Chris doesn't get to decide that. What if he changes his mind? Then we'll deal with it. But I'm not holding my breath. She nodded, tried to smile. Can I ask you something? Anything. Do you think something's wrong with me? Like, why doesn't he want me? My heart broke. There's nothing wrong with you. Not one single thing. He's broken, not you. Are you sure? I've never been more sure of anything. She hugged me again, tighter this time. Thank you, she whispered, for trying, for caring. You don't have to thank me. I do, though. We stayed like that until the light outside turned purple, until the streetlights came on, until the world felt a little less sharp. Jennifer went upstairs to lie down. I stayed in the store, cleaned up, put the DNA results in a drawer. Chris didn't want his daughter. Fine. I did. And that was going to be enough. The next morning, we moved Jennifer's things upstairs. She didn't have much. The backpack, the poetry book, 3 changes of clothes, a toothbrush still in its package from the shelter. That's it? I asked. She shrugged. Easier to run when you don't have stuff weighing you down. You're not running anymore. She looked at me, nodded. I showed her the spare bedroom, Paul's old office. I'd cleared it out the week before, put fresh sheets on the bed, hung curtains. This is mine, she asked. All yours. She set her backpack on the bed, ran her hand along the quilt. I haven't had my own room since I was 12. Well, you have one now. That night, I heard her moving around at 3 a.m, found her standing in the kitchen. Can't sleep? I asked. Not used to it being quiet, or warm. She poured herself water. At the shelter there's always noise, people coming and going, doors slamming. You'll get used to it. Yeah, She drank the water. Thank you. For this. For everything. Your family. This is where you belong. She smiled, went back to bed. Within a week, she enrolled in night classes to finish high school, worked the bookstore during the day, studied at the counter between customers. I watched her balance both without complaining. Never late, never asking for anything. You're allowed to take breaks, I told her once. I'm fine, I like being busy. The months moved fast. Her first book club meeting brought in 8 people. By the 3rd month, we had 20 regulars. Jennifer led discussions like she'd been doing it for years, asked questions that made people think, made everyone feel heard. The bookstore started bringing in more money. Not a lot, but enough that I could pay Jennifer a real wage, not just room and board. You don't have to, she said when I handed her the first check. Yes, I do. You work. You get paid. She stared at the check like she'd never seen one before. Spring turned to summer, summer to fall. Jennifer turned 18 in November. I made her a cake, chocolate with vanilla frosting. She cried when she saw it. No one's made me a cake since I was 11, she said. We ate it in the kitchen upstairs. Just the 2 of us. 2 weeks later, she walked across a stage and got her high school diploma. I sat in the audience with a dozen other families and watched her receive that piece of paper. She found me after. Hugged me hard. I didn't think I'd ever finish, she said. I knew you would. That winter, I found her notebook on the counter. She'd left it there while restocking. I shouldn't have looked, but I did. The pages were filled with stories, some crossed out, some finished, her handwriting small and careful. The stories were good, really good, raw and honest, about a girl surviving things she shouldn't have to survive. You read it, Jennifer said behind me. I turned. I'm sorry. I shouldn't. It's okay, she took the notebook. They're not very good. They're excellent. She looked doubtful. I mean it, I said. You have real talent. You're just saying that. I've been selling books for 40 years. I know good writing when I see it. She bit her lip. You think I could write a book? Yes. Really? Really. She started writing seriously after that. Every night after the store closed, weekends, early mornings before we opened. At 19, she finished her first manuscript, 300 pages, a novel about a girl taking care of her mother, finding her dead, surviving foster care, finding hope in books. She gave it to me on a Tuesday. I don't know if it's any good, she said, but I finished it. I read it that night, all of it, couldn't stop. When I finished, I went to her room, knocked on the door. She opened it, saw my face. It's bad, isn't it? She said. It's beautiful, my voice cracked. Jennifer, this is really beautiful. She started crying. You mean it? Every word. We spent the next year learning how to query agents. Jennifer wrote letters, sent them out, got rejections. Lots of rejections. Maybe it's not good enough, she said after the 20th one. It's good enough. You just haven't found the right person yet. She kept trying. The bookstore kept growing. Jennifer set up social media accounts, posted about new releases, author recommendations, photos of the store. People started coming in because they'd seen us online. You're good at this, I told her. It's easy when you love what you're doing. At 21, an agent said yes. Jennifer called me from the back office, shaking. She wants to represent me. That's wonderful. She thinks she can sell it. Of course she can. 3 months later, the manuscript sold. Small publisher, modest advance, but it was real. Jennifer held the contract in her hands like it might disappear. I'm going to be a published author, she said. Yes, you are. 2 years later, her book came out. We hosted the launch party at the bookstore, packed the place. Jennifer read from chapter 1, her voice steady, strong. I stood in the back and watched her, this girl who'd walked in homeless and scared, now standing in front of 50 people reading her own words. After everyone left, we sat in the quiet store. Thank you, Jennifer said, for believing in me. I'll always believe in you. The book did well, not a bestseller, but it sold. Got good reviews, won a regional award for debut fiction. The local paper did a small piece on her. Local author publishes first novel. Jennifer smiled for the photo but didn't make a big deal of it. At 25, her second book came out. Sold better than the first, made some bestseller lists. Not the big ones, but enough. Publishers started paying attention. Her third book sold at auction, 6 publishers bidding. The advance was $200,000. Jennifer came upstairs that day, sat at the kitchen table, put her head in her hands. "You okay?" I asked. "I don't know what to do with this much money." "Save some, invest some, buy yourself something nice." "I want to give some to the bookstore." "No." "Why not?" "Because you earned that. Your words, your work." "You gave me everything," she said. "Let me give something back." We compromised. She helped with repairs, new shelves, updated the heating system, things the store had needed for years. The bookstore thrived. Jennifer thrived. We fell into rhythms, morning coffee at the kitchen table before opening, book talk during slow afternoons, dinner together most nights. She'd tell me about her writing. I'd tell her about customers, about Paul and the early days of the store. 10 years passed like that. Jennifer grew from a scared 16-year-old into a confident 26-year-old woman. She was kind, talented, strong in ways that still surprised me. But sometimes I'd catch her staring out the window, a look on her face I recognized. "What are you thinking about?" I asked once. "Nothing." "Jennifer." She sighed. "Do you think he ever thinks about me?" Chris, always Chris in the background. "I don't know. I wonder what it would be like, having a father." "You don't need him." "I know. But sometimes she trailed off. "Never mind. You're allowed to want that." "It's stupid. It's human." She never brought it up again, but I knew it was there, that ache for something she'd never had. We'd built something good together, something real, but part of her still carried that wound, the father who didn't want her. I hoped time would heal it. I was wrong. Things stayed quiet for a few months after that. Jennifer kept writing. The bookstore kept thriving. We had our morning coffee, our evening talks, our life together. I stopped worrying about Chris. He'd made his choice 10 years ago. As far as I knew, he'd forgotten we existed. I should have known better. One morning, Jennifer came down to breakfast with her phone in her hand and a smile on her face. "Look at this," she said. "Someone from that online literary magazine interviewed me last month. I forgot it was coming out today." I took the phone, read the headline. From homeless teen to best-selling author Jennifer Carter's inspiring journey. There was a photo of Jennifer in the bookstore, surrounded by shelves, smiling. The article told her whole story. Amanda, the drugs, finding her mother dead, foster care, the orphanage, running away, a year on the streets, then finding William's bookstore, finding me. It mentioned the $200,000 advance, her rising career, how she'd been raised by her grandmother Linda Williams. "This is good," I said, but my stomach tightened. "They want to do a podcast interview next month," Jennifer said. "Isn't that crazy?" "That's wonderful." She took her phone back, scrolled through comments, people congratulating her, saying her story inspired them. I drank my coffee, tried to ignore the feeling in my gut. The message came 2 days later. Jennifer was restocking the poetry section when her phone buzzed. She pulled it out, stared at the screen. Her face went pale. "What is it?" I asked. She didn't answer, just kept staring. I walked over. "Jennifer." He messaged me. Her voice was barely a whisper. "Who?" "Chris. My father." My blood went cold. "What?" She held up the phone. I read the message. "Hi Jennifer, I'm Chris Williams. I'm your father. Your grandmother told me about you a few years ago, and I wasn't ready then. I was wrong. I've regretted it every day since. I'd like to meet you if you're willing. I'm so sorry." I handed the phone back. "Don't answer that." "What?" "Don't answer it. Block him." "Why would I block him?" "Because he wants something." Jennifer's face changed. "You don't know that." "Yes, I do. He saw that article, saw you're successful. Now he's interested." "Maybe he's changed. People like Chris don't change. You don't know him anymore. It's been 10 years. I know him better than anyone." Jennifer put her phone in her pocket. "People deserve second chances." "Not him." "Why?" Because he hurt you? Or because he didn't want me? Both. Well, maybe I want to give him a chance anyway. We stared at each other. First real fight we'd ever had. If you do this, I said, he's going to hurt you. Or maybe he's genuinely sorry. Maybe he wants to be in my life. He abandoned you before you were born. And maybe he regrets it. The message says he regrets it. Words are easy, Jennifer. So I shouldn't believe anyone who apologizes. You shouldn't believe him. She turned away. I'm going to answer him. Don't. It's my choice. She walked to the back office, closed the door. I stood there in the poetry section, surrounded by books about love and loss and betrayal. This was going to end badly. I knew it in my bones. The first coffee meeting happened 3 days later. Jennifer came home glowing. He was so nice, she said. He apologized for everything, said he was young and scared, that he's thought about me for years. What else did he say? He asked about my writing, about my books. He seemed really proud. Of course he did. Are you going to see him again? He asked if we could meet next week. Is that okay? You don't need my permission. I know, but I don't want you to be upset. I'm not upset, I was terrified. I just want you to be careful. I will be. The meetings became regular, once a week, then twice. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into lunch on weekends. Jennifer texted me updates. He's so funny. He told me about his startup ideas. He asked to see my manuscript. I watched from a distance, waited for the other shoe to drop. After a month, Chris started showing up at the bookstore, always when I wasn't there. Jennifer would mention it later. Dad stopped by today. Dad. She was calling him Dad now. What did he want? Just to say hi. He bought a book. One of mine. How nice. You don't like him being around. I don't trust him. You don't trust anyone. That's not true. You've been alone for so long you forgot what it's like to let people in. That stung. I let you in. Because you had to. I needed help. That's not why. Then why don't you want me to have a father? I want you to have a father who actually cares about you, not someone who showed up the second you became successful. Jennifer's face hardened. You're wrong about him. I hope I am. But I wasn't. 2 months in, Jennifer mentioned Chris to her literary friends, brought him to a book signing. He charmed everyone, told stories, made people laugh. I watched him work the room, saw how he positioned himself next to Jennifer, how he mentioned being her father to anyone who'd listen. He's really proud of you, one of Jennifer's friends told me. Is he? After 3 months, things shifted. Jennifer came home from dinner with Chris, quiet, thoughtful. Everything okay? I asked. He told me about a business opportunity. There it was. What kind of opportunity? Subscription boxes. He says the market's coming back. Better than it was 10 years ago. The same pitch, word for word. How much does he need? Jennifer looked surprised. How did you know he needs money? Lucky guess. He needs investors, people who believe in the concept. And he asked you. He said he'd understand if I wasn't interested, but he wanted to give me first opportunity since I'm family. Since I'm family. The words made me sick. How much? 100,000 to start. But he says the returns could be huge. Jennifer, I know what you're thinking, but he showed me the business plan. It's solid. Don't give him money. It's my money. I know, but please, don't do this. He's my father. He's a con artist. Stop. Jennifer stood up. You never wanted me to have a relationship with him. You're trying to sabotage this. I'm trying to protect you. From what? From having a parent who actually wants me. He doesn't want you. He wants your money. You don't know that. Yes, I do. No, you just can't stand that someone besides you cares about me. That's not fair. Neither is this. She grabbed her coat. I'm going for a walk. She left. I sat at the kitchen table, hands shaking. I had to do something. Had to prove what Chris was really after. The plan came to me that night. It was risky. If I was wrong, Jennifer would never forgive me. But if I was right, she'd finally see the truth. I called Chris the next morning. Mom? He sounded surprised. What's going on? I need to talk to you. In person. About what? About Jennifer. And money. Silence. Okay. When? Today. 4 o'clock. The bookstore. I'll be there. I hung up. Texted Jennifer. I need you to trust me. Come to the bookstore at 4:15. Don't come inside. Wait in the back office. Just listen, please. She texted back an hour later. What's this about? Please. Just do this one thing for me. Fine. At 3:45 I closed the store early, locked the front door. Jennifer arrived at 4. I let her in through the back. What's going on? She asked. Chris is coming. I'm going to talk to him. I need you to listen from the back office. Why? Because I need to prove something, and you won't believe me unless you hear it yourself. This is crazy. Just listen. That's all I'm asking. She looked at me. You really think he's using me? I know he is. And if you're wrong? Then I'll apologize, to both of you. She went to the back office. Left the door cracked. Chris arrived at 4:03. I let him in, locked the door behind him. What's this about? He asked. Sit down. He sat at one of the reading tables, looked around the store like he was appraising it. I've been thinking, I said, about what you said 10 years ago, about selling this place. His eyes sharpened. Okay. You were right. I'm getting older. This is too much work. So you're ready to sell? Maybe. The property's worth more now. $450,000 at least. I watched his face, saw the calculation happening. That's good, he said carefully. I'll sell it, I said, and I'll give you all the money. What? Every penny. $450,000, maybe more if I get a good offer. He leaned forward. Why would you do that? One condition. What? You disappear from Jennifer's life, completely, no contact. Block her number, block her social media, walk away and never come back. Chris stared at me. You're serious. Dead serious. The money's yours if you leave her alone. She's an adult. She can make her own choices. Then make yours, the bookstore or your daughter. He was quiet for maybe 5 seconds. Deal. My heart sank. I'd hoped I was wrong. When do I get the money? He asked. I need time to list the property, a few months. How do I know you'll actually do it? How do I know you'll actually leave? He smiled. Cold. I guess we trust each other. I guess so. I paused, out of curiosity. Why the yes? Why not fight me on this? He shrugged. Be realistic. She'll get over it. She got this far without me. She doesn't really need a father. She wanted one, though. Sure. But that's not my problem. And honestly, he looked around. She's got her books, her writing. That'll keep her busy. Kids don't need as much as people think. That's your daughter you're talking about. That's $450,000 you're offering. Actually, with the right agent, you could probably get $500,000. Behind him, the back office door opened. Jennifer stepped out. Her face was wet with tears, but her eyes were clear. Chris turned, saw her. His expression didn't change much, just a slight tightening around his mouth. Hey Jen, he said. Don't. Her voice was steady. Don't call me that. Look, this is exactly what it looks like. She walked closer. You were using me. I wasn't. You were waiting for me to give you money. The whole time. Every coffee. Every dinner. You were just waiting. That's not true. Yes, it is. You said it yourself. I don't really need a father. Chris stood up. She set this up. She manipulated this whole conversation. She was right about you, the whole time, and I didn't believe her. Jennifer, come on. You're smarter than this. Yeah, I am. She crossed her arms. Get out. There's no bookstore money, is there? He looked at me. No, I said. His face went hard. This is ridiculous. I never wanted a kid then and I don't need this drama now. He grabbed his jacket. You two deserve each other. Stuck in this pathetic bookstore playing happy family. He walked to the door, unlocked it, slammed it behind him. Jennifer stood there, shaking. I went to her, put my arms around her. She collapsed, sobbed into my shoulder. I'm sorry, I said. I'm so sorry you had to hear that. You were right. You were right about everything. I wish I'd been wrong. I really thought. She couldn't finish. I know. I'm so stupid. You're not stupid. You wanted a father. That's human. He never cared. No, he didn't. We stood there in the bookstore. Just the two of us. The only family either of us needed. Thank you, Jennifer said finally. For what? For saving me from making a huge mistake. That's what family does. She pulled back, wiped her eyes. I love you. I love you too. Outside, the streetlights came on. The world kept turning. But inside William's bookstore, we had everything we needed. A year passed. We didn't hear from Chris, not a word. Jennifer blocked his number, blocked his social media. He was gone from our lives like he'd never been there at all. Good riddance. Jennifer's third novel hit the bestseller lists in the spring, not just the small ones, the big ones. The New York Times, USA Today, her face on displays in bookstores across the country. We celebrated with takeout Chinese food in the apartment, just the two of us, the way we liked it. This is insane, Jennifer said, scrolling through her phone. People are actually reading my book. Of course they are. It's brilliant. She smiled, set the phone down. I'm working on something new. Another novel, a memoir, about us, about the bookstore, about finding family when you least expect it. My throat tightened. Yeah? If that's okay with you. More than okay. She started therapy that summer, twice a week, working through the abandonment, the rejection, all the years of hurt. It helps, she told me once. Talking about it. Good. That's good. William's bookstore kept thriving. We hosted more events, book clubs, author readings. Young writers started showing up. Kids from foster care, teenagers who'd aged out of the system, people who reminded me of Jennifer at 16. She mentored them, sat with them in the poetry section, read their work, told them they had talent, gave them hope. You're good at this, I told her. I remember what it felt like, having no one believe in you. At 76, I was still running the store. My hair had gone completely gray. My hands ached in the mornings, but I showed up every day, opened the doors, made the coffee. Jennifer had moved into her own apartment a few blocks away. She'd decorated it with books, framed covers of her novels on the walls. But she came to the bookstore every morning. We still had our coffee together, still talked about books, still lived the rhythms we'd built over 12 years. Her fourth book came out in the fall. I opened it to the dedication page. To Linda, who gave me home, family, and stories. I cried right there at the counter. Didn't even try to hide it. By December, we were planning the Christmas event, Jennifer's latest novel, a reading and signing. We decorated the store. Lights in the windows, garland on the shelves. It looked like something from a movie. The night of the event, people packed the place, standing room only. Customers I'd known for years, new faces who'd discovered us online, young writers Jennifer had mentored, friends from her writing community. Jennifer stood at the front, read from chapter 3, her voice clear and strong. I stood in the back, watched her command the room. This woman who'd walked in 12 years ago with nothing but a worn backpack and a desperate hope. She'd built this, her career, her life, her confidence. After everyone left, we cleaned up, stacked chairs, swept the floor, put the garland back in place. I made tea in the back office, brought out 2 cups. We sat in the reading chairs by the window, the street outside dark except for the streetlights, the store warm and quiet around us. I never thanked you properly, Jennifer said. For what? For that day. When I walked in here, you didn't have to hire me. You didn't have to care. I saw you. That's all. Most people don't see homeless kids. They look away. Well, I'm glad I didn't. Well, me too. She sipped her tea. This store was dying when you got here, you know. I barely had customers. You saved me too, I said. We sat in comfortable silence, the kind that only comes from years of knowing someone, of building a life together one day at a time. Jennifer laughed suddenly. Something she'd read on her phone, the sound filled the store, bounced off the shelves, warmed the corners that used to feel so cold. I looked around, at the books, at the lights in the window, at this girl who'd become a woman, who'd become my family. 12 years ago, I'd been alone, grieving, going through the motions. Then a girl walked in asking for a job. And everything changed. Not because of grand gestures or dramatic moments, but because of coffee in the mornings, books shared in the afternoons, dinner conversations that stretched into evening, small kindnesses that built into something unbreakable. Chris never understood that. He'd been looking for something big, something profitable, something impressive. He'd missed what was right in front of him, his loss. Jennifer set her cup down. I should head home. Early morning tomorrow. Okay. She hugged me at the door and said, love you. Love you too. She walked out into the December cold. I watched through the window until she turned the corner. Safe. I locked up, turned off most of the lights, left the window display glowing. Upstairs, the apartment was quiet, but not lonely anymore. Never lonely. I made myself another cup of tea, sat at the kitchen table, looked at the framed photo Jennifer had given me last Christmas, the two of us in the bookstore, both smiling. My granddaughter. My family. Tomorrow she'd be back. We'd have our coffee, talk about books, serve customers, live our ordinary, extraordinary life. So, that's my story. I'd love to hear what you think. Should Jennifer have given Chris a second chance or listened to me from the start? Let me know in the comments and subscribe for more stories like mine.